And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another broadcast here on the CranKy Ducklings for the first time in a couple of days. Has been a couple of days, but we have been casting every single day, and here we are with another edition of the ESL Open Cup Asia number 185, and spawning in the top right-hand corner of Ancient Sister, and we have the South Korean Protoss player representing Team Abydos. It is NightMare. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Filipino Zerg player. Oh, we haven't seen him in so long. Let's go, Papi. We have Filipino Zerg. He's known as, oh my god, can I get it right? Can I get it right? Caviar Napoleon Marquises Acampado himself. It is EnDerr. And that was all. That was all through memory. It's been so long. It's been so long. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Of course, we were not live yesterday on the CranKy Ducklings, but we were live yesterday on Africa. Of course, we were casting the Africa Champions Cup. It was quite an event. Had the best of the best players out there. Had Showtime, Max Pax, Rainer, Cyril, Maru, Cure. Anyone who's anyone was there last night. So yeah, we had quite a tournament on our hands. We had quite an event that did unfold. Oh boy. And now we're here with some more StarCraft. We're not stopping. But it's good to be back. It is good to be back here in the land of the CranKy Ducklings. Good to be back. And oh boy, I'm excited. I'm excited. For those who may not know him, EnDerr is one of the Zerg Muta Triangle. What is the Zerg Muta Triangle? Well, in the Southeast Asia Sea, in the Southeast China Sea, actually, there exists a triangle, a metaphorical triangle, if you will, which is connected by a couple of key points in the world: the Philippines, Vietnam, Hong Kong, all joined together to create that triangle. And if you step inside it, you're gone. You're gone forever. Aye. Now, what I just said may not be a reality, but it's, you know, it's what we make of it, is what it really is. And there's one of the best Zerg players in all of Southeast Asia, alongside Mia Micah, alongside Gogo Joey, and alongside Demi as well. Demi is the shark that does traverse the waters, the dangerous waters of the Zerg Muta Triangle. I believe there's a command in the chat. And anyone who knows the command, they can spam it. It's a beautiful meme. It's beautiful. Shout out to SteelMold. SteelMold actually did make a graphic for it. He made a graphic for it. But yeah, EnDerr, he's a very aggressive player here in Southeast Asia. He's definitely the underdog. He has been taking a break, a hiatus from StarCraft, but he is back. He was going to play in GPO on Saturday, but alas, we were unable to catch him. He was unable to make it in time, but we are link flooding, by the way. Off of 22 workers, we are amassing nothing but lings. The first adepts are being chased away, but no, the two adepts do survive. Good control there. NightMare is able to keep them alive, keep them safe, keep them sound, but he's working on a third base, and EnDerr is looking to shut down not just the third, but also break into the natural and maybe do more than that. We do see a recall here. The adepts are going to be making it back home in time. The wall so far is a wall. We have a pylon behind this. No! The pylon was a little bit too late. The lings, they do flood on in. Both adepts are going to be going down. The shield battery is not done yet. The wall is going to be walled off behind this. EnDerr is droning. He is not all in by any means, but he is looking for damage. He gets 7 probes, gets all the adepts. He dives into the main base. He's going to be avoiding these oracles, hoping that they run out of energy. And hey, the oracles, they are running out. At least one of them will, but the other still is stock full of that energy here. The pulsar beam is about to run out. A couple more probes are going to go down. So far, a good start here for EnDerr. And again, he's even containing his opponent to 2 bases. This third base is very late for the Protoss. Oh, let's go, Bobby. Let's go. Lings are finally going to get cleaned up. Of course, EnDerr is fully aware the opener was a standard Stargate opener into those oracles. They are going to be kept at home. Their energy is wasted. EnDerr's drones are safe and sound, and hopefully he throws down some spores, and he does, to make sure that he doesn't lose his advantage. A couple more Lings are being sent out across the map. That probe is going to get shut down. Can we delay this third base a little bit longer? We have a full wall off, which means we can't even protect this space without killing a pylon, so the damage is real. EnDerr, oh, papi. Calm down. Caviar, Napoleon, Marquises, Acampado. Oh. The reason why I have his name memorized, it's you know, there are many things that I don't remember in life, but I do remember EnDerr. Is because of his name. He has a very long name because he's from the Philippines, so they do preserve their secondary name, or sorry, their last name from both their mother and their father. And it's just it's so intense. it's beautiful. It's yeah. We would have battles between, I say battles. In our mind, in my mind at least, there are two players with the most extravagant names in the StarCraft scene. Of course, Max Angel is definitely up there, don't get me wrong. But you got EnDerr, and then you got Jaime, Jim, Arturo Duran, Silencio himself, Jim Rising. It's beautiful. Oh. Before that happens, the Roaches have arrived, by the way, and are going for a follow-up push, catching these units out on the map as well. The Stalkers are going to be going down. Shield Battery is not done. NightMare was not ready for the second wave. He was not ready for the follow-up push. NightMare is one of the best Protoss players in all of South Korea. EnDerr, he is just a lowly Zerg from Southeast Asia, and mate, he is here knocking down that third base. Could he have gone into the natural? I think so. I think he could have broken into the natural. Force fields would have made things a little bit awkward, but you know what, EnDerr, he's going for the secure amount of damage. He's going for the third base. The Nexus does go down. And NightMare contained to 2, but NightMare knows he's behind. He knows he's in a really rough position. He knows that things are not looking too good for the Protoss. So what do we have? The Dark Shrine. When behind Dark Shrine, the Invisible Man is about to be upon us. The Invisible Man is a pretty good unit. We do have detection. We do have a lair. Oh, there it is. We do have the lair at the natural. We will have access to some mobile detection as well. So these DTs, they're going to have a hard time finding damage, but just because it's hard doesn't mean... We ended that in a couple of different ways. Doesn't mean it's impossible here for NightMare. You know, there's a lot he can do with these DTs. And here we go, the 4 DTs ahead towards the 4th base. There is no Spore here. There's no Overseer either. So these DTs are going to force a cancel on the 4th hatchery. Hopefully not a kill. Up. There we go. Does force that cancel. We even have a stasis trap here on the other 4th base location as well. So NightMare keeping on top of things, looking to bounce back in this game. NightMare isn't out of this yet. NightMare refuses to die. Things have been dangerous for him. You know, he's been on the brink a couple of times. He has been on the brink of death, but he is looking to fight back. He's got plenty of sentries for force fields. Energy-based units are what you want in this game state. We have the DTs that can be morphed into Archons as well. Meanwhile, EnDerr is stopping droning here at 3 base saturation. 64 workers, that's 3 base saturation essentially here from our Zerg player, but now we're making Roaches, now we're making Lings, +1 range is about to kick in. We have Overlord speed on the way as well to help out with that detection. Now, NightMare can go for some cheeky moves. I believe he still has the Void Ray. Yes, he does have the Void Ray. He could try and of course, Stalkers as well. He could try and snipe the detection and try and deny any kind of scouting or any kind of vision here from EnDerr to make those DTs put in a lot of work. It's possible, as we see the hit squad of DTs, they're ready to go in. They are ready. Essentially, NightMare is waiting for the push. When EnDerr reveals his hand, NightMare comes in with those DTs, and here we go. The DTs are waddling on in. The push has been spotted by this observer. He knows that EnDerr is out of position, that EnDerr is not ready for this. 4 DTs can kill a Spore. They will not just kill a Spore. This lair is under threat as well. EnDerr has to evacuate. Does he turn back around with his army? It looks like he will. NightMare buying a lot of time right now. He was ready for an attack as well. We have stasis traps, we have force fields, we have sentries. 12 drones go down and we recall out of there. A lot of damage has been done. NightMare now ahead in the economy. EnDerr missed his timing. The longer this goes on, the harder it's going to be here for EnDerr to close things out. He is maxed, don't get me wrong. He's maxed out here on Ling Roach Ravager. Can he keep on pushing? Can he pull this off? As we have Oracles looking to dive on in. There is a Spore in position, so the space isn't... It should be okay. A little bit of mispathing as well. EnDerr is bleeding out units. Oh, that was a lot of Roaches going down for free. Again, this is kind of slipping away from EnDerr. I'm really concerned. We have a Disruptor on the way. One Disruptor can be enough. You can argue, yo, NightMare, he's down in supply, right? He's down 80, 70 supply. Oh, that's one Disruptor. That's that's what that is, papi. We do see a couple more workers going down here to these DTs. Finally, they're going to be cleaned up, but 7 more drones do go down. EnDerr diving on forward. Can he pull this off before the disruptors really show up? One disruptor is now coming out of the production. Queens are waddling on in. Some of those shield batteries are going down. The disruptor has arrived. Biles are going to be zoning away the armor, but here we go. The first Nova is going to be going up. Up. Good connection on two of those Ravagers. EnDerr is trying to force the issue here. The overcharge is putting in a lot of work. Ooh. Biles is going to force back the army of NightMare. We can see NightMare holding on for dear life. He is cleaning up a lot of these roaches, and he's getting on top of the Ravagers. EnDerr losing a little bit too much. You can see there he tried to dive on top of that disruptor. 17 probes did go down, but EnDerr is losing his army and doesn't have an amazing economy. It's better than his opponents. He killed a surprising amount of workers, don't get me wrong. EnDerr is remaxing, he's rebuilding, he is looking for wave number 3. Ooh, Overseers are going down. We now have a second robo, double disruptor production. Ay, ay, ay. And we don't have a Spire. Spire? What? Well, we don't have a Spire, but we don't have a Hive. There's no Hive, there's no Infestation Pit, there's no Vipers. That's what I was getting at. Without Vipers, we have to rely on splitting. On splits, on the control, on the micro here of EnDerr. Has pretty good control, but is it going to be enough to avoid 4 Purification Novas? As NightMare, it's his turn to be out of position. The Roach Rumbai is going to find a couple of probes. We're going to get on top of the shield battery. DTs are going to be able to defend, though. No detection here. The Invisible Man does defend. It attacks. Does everything. Everything it needs to. Into the hands of NightMare. We have more Lings in production. EnDerr working on that next wave, but again, things are becoming more secure here for NightMare. God, that's 6 disruptors at this point. Now, there's a world where EnDerr can maybe dive on this. Maybe these disruptors are out of position. Maybe he can catch them exposed. And if he does, I mean, that will be game then and there. But outside of that scenario, we'll see if EnDerr can pull anything off. Once again, pushing forward. That Overseer was sniped immediately, by the way. No more detection is available for EnDerr. Disruptors are coming on in. We do have a good Lynx around on those Stalkers. But the disruptors, they have arrived. Novas go off the first one. The second one connects. Oh my god, juicy connections all around. 3 disruptors connect. The fourth doesn't, as the Lings do get on top of the disruptors. They're going to be zoning the army away. The fourth base is going to go down. EnDerr, he takes down the fourth. He takes down the entire mineral line. NightMare trying to fight back, but he was zoned away. EnDerr, he's doing enough to keep things close. No, but he's bleeding out a lot of units. Bleeding out a lot of Ravagers here in the retreat. EnDerr still only on 4 bases. Doesn't have an amazing economy. Oh, Biles are going to be connecting, but so will the Novas. A couple more Roaches go down. Oh god! Oh, as we shave off some of those Lings. I think that was every Nova though, so EnDerr, he's trying to dive on top of this. He's getting on top of the Disruptors. Up! 2 disruptors will go down. There's only 2 left. Can he get them in time? He will get 1 in time, but can he get the other? It looks like he barely will. Every single disruptor gets sniped before a single Nova goes off. That was the backbone of the army here for NightMare. The disruptors were keeping him in this. And here we go. We get to the surround onto the 4th base. Does force a cancel. NightMare fighting back. He's reclaiming his 4th base, still working on, or trying to work on disruptor production. He has 1 disruptor to his name. EnDerr's, he's been all in for like 10 minutes. For 10 minutes, Buffy, and we'll see if he can come back. I mean, we'll see if he can close this out, I should say. We have a couple more DTs being sent out across the map to harass some of these fringe locations. We do have a Spine Crawler and a Queen to help transfuse. DTs are fanning out. At the same time, the main army of NightMare pushing on forward. Looking at the units tab, we do have 33... Oh, God, that's a lot of Stalkers. 33 Stalkers available here for NightMare. Baneling Rumbai does roll on in, but no NightMare. He reacts in time. He does pull those probes away. Oh, the... Bailing's they're gonna be running into the Stalkers. They find some connections, but not ideal here for EnDerr. NightMare is able to go back to mining. is able to go back. Meanwhile, in the center of the map, Void Ray does rock up. Is going to be doing quite a lot. I feel like NightMare has recognized now that, oh, hold on, you don't have anti-air. I can get some damage done here with this Void Ray puppy. I can make some magic happen. Disruptors now back in production. NightMare has the economy to sustain that. At least a couple of those disruptors. Stalker army has been revealed once again. And they're going to be rotating on over. Ooh, is going to be bleeding out a couple of units. Ooh. 3 Ravagers do go down. Big losses here. We can see NightMare is closing the gap in the supply. And they're working on a 2-2 plus 2 melee is going to be a big upgrade here for EnDerr. Can he pull it off though? A lot of disruptors are still lying in wait. Once again, overseers are being sniped. We do have a couple of probes going down into the main, in that 4th base. Biles zoning away those stalkers for the time being. We don't want to blink forward here on towards those banelings, but here we go. We have the Novas. Ooh, takes on one of those Ravagers. 2 more disruptors are available. We can see NightMare, his supply is getting a bit out of hand. It's getting a bit out of control. As EnDerr is going to be catching some of this army. Banelings will be connecting. Nova's going to be going off. Not the best. Nova's does get 3 or 1 Ravager each basically for each Nova. At the same time, EnDerr is laying siege upon the 3rd base. Banelings are trying to roll in a little bit of friendly fire with those Biles. And it looks like EnDerr won't quite make it into the middle line. No, never mind. The Lings, they get in. Probes are going down. Massive connection at the same time, though. NightMare is going for a base trade. He's going for one of the bases of EnDerr. Trading a base for a base. The disruptor count still up here for NightMare. Oof. As both players are hurting, both players are bleeding. We can see EnDerr getting ready to try to catch this army. We do have a recall available. NightMare doesn't have to walk back home. He's looking for the drones. He's looking for the workers. Doesn't quite find them. Settling counterattack is going to be catching some of these stalkers instead. Do we have detection, by the way? We do. DT is going to be going down. Once again, NightMare, every single time he focuses down the detection, massive Novas go off on the Roach Ravager, and the lead, the advantage that EnDerr had is no longer there. The pure Blink Stalker Disruptor army is just trading too efficiently. The reality is that this army from EnDerr doesn't have the most longevity to it. It does get outscaled as the game goes on. As we can see here, NightMare just has the superior army. As long as he doesn't get caught out of position, he should be able to push on forward. As long as these disruptors connect, then NightMare should be okay. Do you see EnDerr coming in from behind, but he's being zoned away from his own natural base. Nova's pushing EnDerr back time and time again. The Stalkers, they break into the natural, they break into that lair. The lair will fall, and the boys are being pulled in a last-ditch effort. Oh my god, and what a game. What a game we had. It's just barely not enough as NightMare cleans up the final army of EnDerr. GG gets called, and NightMare fights back, taking game number 1. GG. Oof, but that was not an easy game. That was no easy feat out of NightMare. Did have to fight for it, did have to work for it. And there were times where I thought EnDerr may even just close out the game. I think there were a couple of big moments. If you remember the DT counterattack, it did buy a lot of time. It bought a lot of time to NightMare, and it forced EnDerr to turn back around. Likewise, there was also the moment where EnDerr made the choice to go for the 3rd base instead of trying to break into the natural. I do think he could have done both. I think he could have taken down at both, just a couple of lings over towards the 3rd and focus on getting some more value out of that natural base. It was a very intense situation though, and oh boy, props to EnDerr for making it close. Again, EnDerr, he is definitely the underdog in this series. He's, I wouldn't say an up-and-comer. EnDerr, he's an old school player, is the best player in all the Philippines. Hands down, hands down. best Filipino player out there. But right now he's not in peak condition, he's not in peak form, which is why, like, for him to take it to NightMare like this is really impressive. Really impressive. GG. GG, well played. As we are going to be diving into our next game. Let's go. I'm catching up with the chat. Shout out to Aries in the chat. Have you been, Papi? Have you been? It's good to see you. Good to see you. It's been so long. I know you've been so busy. So busy. Come back to us. Come back to us. Also, shout out to Ranger as well. Of course, Aries, another Malaysian player living in Singapore. Getting close to 69. Let's go. Going to cast some Protoss games. Yeah, a couple. As we are diving into this and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Altitude, we have the South Korean Protoss player representing Team Abydos. It is NightMare. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Filipino Zerg player representing himself, as he's currently teamless. But he is one of the Zerg Muta Triangle. It is Caviar Napoleon Marquises Acampado himself. It is EnDerr. Let's go. As we get into our next game. And yeah, really impressive stuff out of EnDerr, despite being out of shape. Likewise, really impressive play out of NightMare as well. The tenacity of NightMare to be unrelenting despite having his bases knocked down, despite moments where, if you remember, Lings were in the natural as well. Like, everything was on fire at a time. And NightMare was able to keep his cool, able to keep cool, calm, and collected. And in the end, come back, bounce back from a really devastating position. So yeah, really well done. Utilizing some of his units quite well. Of course, when it comes to comeback capabilities here in PvZ, you have the Disruptor, you have DTs as well. Like, they do gain a lot of value over time. And mate, those Novas, those Purification Novas were insane. Almost every single Nova that went off connected with the army, and just, yeah, got so much here for NightMare, who was able to bounce back and fight back. And now we're here in game 2. We are here in our next game. And we're loading into Altitude. I'm a little bit surprised, I'll be honest. I'm surprised we've ended up on a larger map, especially considering the aggressive nature of EnDerr. Again, EnDerr was pretty all-in that last game. I can see people talking about, like, transitioning into Lurker or Viper. Mate, we did not have an economy for a transition. EnDerr was very all-in with how he was playing, and I mean, that's typically how he is. He's a very aggressive player. When I think of EnDerr, I don't really consider him more of a macro-oriented player, which is why this map surprised me, and it's why I'm willing to be introduced to another side of EnDerr if possible. We'll see if we can get there, because here in the main base, NightMare is not going for a standard opener, or he's not going for a Stargate opener, I should say. He's going for a Twilight Council instead. Oh boy. So NightMare are going to be applying quite a bit of pressure here to EnDerr early on. There is that Robo on the way. We haven't pulled out of gases quite yet. So I'm curious to see if this is going to be for Glaive Adepts or as a DT opener instead. Oh, now we pull out. There we go. Do pull out. It is going to be Glaive Adepts here from our Protoss player. And I think this is a wise choice. I think EnDerr knows that coming into this, he's the favorite, and opening up Glaive Adepts like this is going to put EnDerr on the back foot. He's going to be forced to take the role of the defender, and I don't think that's a position that EnDerr is comfortable with. I don't think that's really what he wants. Yeah, there we go. As EnDerr is making a massive flood of Lings, cutting drones at 26. The Ling flood is coming across the map. Oh boy. And we'll see. I mean, he's going to be forcing defensive warpins, of course, but there are going to be Glaive Adepts. I mean, Glaive is still a ways off, so we'll see what can get done. First Adept is going to be going down. The Stalker is under threat as well. We are able to throw down that pylon in time. The wall is a wall. Lings are going to be threatening the wall itself, though. The gateways, the cyber core. These Adepts are putting in a lot of work, and we are droning up behind this. EnDerr forced to back off. The wall is solid, and we will have to back off and saturate our bases. And this is where I'm really concerned, because EnDerr, he cut workers really early on. He doesn't have the best economy right now, and he doesn't have a Roach Warren. So typically in a standard EVP, especially if you recognize that it's not a Stargate opener, we would have a Roach Warren thrown down at around the 4-minute mark. Here, this Roach Warren is very late, which means we won't have roaches out for these Glaive Adepts. Oh boy. EnDerr, can he keep up with this? Can he minimize his losses? We have, how many? We only have 7 Adepts for the time being, so not too many available here for NightMare, but he's going for another warp in. This was, oh my god, this is a 2-base all in. 6 Gate Glaive Adepts coming out from NightMare. So far, though, the Lings are doing a decent job. A good juggling, though, out of NightMare, preserving his units, keeping these Adepts alive. Oh my god! Finally, they will be cleaned up. They will be forced back, but again, NightMare, it's 6 gateways. He doesn't intend to expand. He's not taking a 3rd base. He's going for more warp ins. He's committed. Now, enough time has passed where roaches have come out for EnDerr. Or roaches are on the way, I should say. Once the roaches do pop out, EnDerr's going to be able to hold on. Meanwhile, we have another massive warp in of Adepts. Roach is going to hold on to the natural base, but what about the main, though? The NightMare is looking to shade on in. Roach does go down. We shade into the main base. Lings are here, but the Lings are dying. Meanwhile, the Prism does dive into that main base. Can we get another warp in? Queen is going to be zoning that Warp Prism away. We were able to kill 8 drones. I'm sure NightMare wants a little bit more. I'm sure he wants some more damage done. Meanwhile, he goes for a warp in, a very ambitious warp in, but hey, he does survive. The Queen goes down. The Prism does live. Oh. And with that, we're able to save a couple more of those Adepts. Back at home, NightMare, he is transitioning, is going to be going straight into Disruptor production. I imagine Disruptor. We'll see if he goes into Colossi. Well, the Adepts, oh god, the focus firing here, 16 drones, oh my god, 19 drones go down. Oh boy, that's a lot of economic damage already done here. Looking at the units tab, what's those 19 drones? 90 Lings and 2 Roaches. Oh boy, wait, I can have a look at the, there we go. 3,000 minerals down the drain for EnDerr. You could argue he's alive. Yes, he is. He has Roach Ravager. Sure, does have that. But the Adept aggression has not subsided. A couple more Adepts. Gonna be threatening that 3rd base as well. The Adepts are going to be cleaned up in the end. EnDerr is going to attempt to stabilize. Oh my god, okay. So he's going into a lair. This is most likely for Roach speed. He's droning, trying to saturate his 3rd base. Back at home, the Disruptors are coming out. We have our first Disruptor. Do we have Warp Prism speed? We don't. So no Warp Prism speed. Transitioning into Blink. Again, the longer that NightMare is contained to 2 bases, the better this is, but yeah, NightMare knows. He's going to be focusing down that pylon, will be looking to take an expansion. With both players being on an even worker count, this is better for NightMare. He has better tech, has a better economy. Oh boy. And we'll see if EnDerr can react in time to these Disruptors. The Disruptor drop, it has a lot of potential here. It could do a lot of damage. It can. Oh boy. Can do quite a lot. Oh, looks like we're going to be getting a bit of a pause. Hopefully everything's okay. Thankfully, we're getting a pause, not in the middle of a big fight. Thankfully, things are settling in a way, and everyone's macroing for the most part. No big engagement going on, so. And they're just fixing up any kind of latency issues, or maybe Uber Eats, maybe some food just arrived. It is possible. It is possible. Fun fact: I ordered some Korean fried chicken, and it arrived as the lobby was made. It's it's right here. It's right here. Oh, I can't eat it though. I can't eat it. We're gonna have to. It's gonna just be looking at me until after the cast. Oh, oh no, smooch. We'll get into it at some point. Mukbang stream. Let's go. I typically don't eat during a broadcast. If we ever have breaks, then that's when I would try and get some food. But typically I try and wait until after the cast. Don't want to hold up or affect the cast negatively in any way. So gonna be waiting. I've got some Korean fried chicken and I've also got some tteokbokki. Let's go. Let's go. It's it was Uber Eats. Yeah, I thought so. Yeah. Makes sense. As we get back into this, EnDerr saying, sorry, food delivery. I understand. I can empathize. As the disruptors have arrived, here we go. The first name is going to be going off. Oh, a very delayed reaction. 9 drones go down. Oh, EnDerr not quite ready there to react. And with that, NightMare, he maintains his economic lead. Is going to be establishing his 3rd base. And these disruptors, it's only just begun. That was only 2 Novas. And we have more where that came from. More Novas going to be going off. We're going for the Queen. Queen does go down. How many Queens we have left? We have 2 Queens remaining. 1 for the main, 1 for the natural. They are busy injecting. Don't have too much to deal with this Prism. EnDerr setting up for his own all-in. He's cutting workers here at 55. This is almost 3 base saturation, not including the gas geysers, of course. Is going to be going for pure Ling Roach Ravager. Nova's going to be going off, taking down some more of those Ravagers. Very high-value targets being taken here from NightMare. Back at home, he's taking a defensive position. Shield batteries are done. Overcharge is available. We have force fields on these sentries, so NightMare can wall off. That won't stop the all-in. Not yet. As EnDerr is committed. But pushing up a ramp into disruptors is a very difficult thing to do. Oh my god! Oh, 1 Nova does connect. Taking down more of those Ravagers. 1 Ravager, 1 Roach even. EnDerr is droning behind this. We have +1 melee on the way. You love to see it. But, oh my god, he does bile himself a little bit, but he takes down that Observer. The problem is that, again, like, EnDerr, his initial plan was this all-in. So for him to drone, he's already behind to begin with, right? He's already playing from a deficit, so see if he can bounce back from this. Again, it is possible. Things like bailing run-bys, being able to catch some of these disruptors as well. EnDerr can take efficient engagements, he can take efficient fights. It is possible. He just has to try to create these situations for himself, create these opportunities. Can capitalize on. Files are going to be raining down. Nova goes off. Does take down another one of those Ravagers. EnDerr now on the run. Uh-oh, he's being cornered right now. Oh god, can he make it to his 3rd base? It looks like he will, but Nova's gonna go off. No! Massive connections. Oh my god, the entire Ravager army just explodes, and with that, NightMare is gonna be able to take this fight, and he can snowball out of control from here. 1 disruptor did go down, but GG gets called, and NightMare takes the series 2-0. GG, well played. Congratulations, NightMare again. He came in as the favored player. He has been competing and has been improving quite a lot over the years. EnDerr, a returning player. You know, after a year-long hiatus or 6 months of being on hiatus, he did come back to the game, and I was really impressed in Game 1. Game 1 was So close. At times, EnDerr was ahead. He did have a lead. EnDerr was looking good, looking poised to force an ace match, or at least take game one. Yeah, in the end, did slip through his fingers. Despite that, though, despite how short of an amount of time that EnDerr's been back, it's been really cool to see him perform as well as he did, and I hope to see more of him. I hope that EnDerr, he does stick with it, and he is going to be putting in some more hours and does show up in more of these events. I look forward to it. Always love to see the Zerg meter triangle come back in full force, so GG, well played. But regardless, NightMare is going to be advancing on into the next round, where he's going to be facing off against his next opponent. Who is it going to be? Let's find out. Let us find out.